Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here from my new place all the way out in Iowa. And I figured since I haven't done like a walk and talk in a while and I haven't done anything from Iowa or my place, I figure I'd give everybody a look at my backyard. Obviously to the sides isn't just the straightaway, but I wanted to talk about the insanity of my hometown, which I left just in time. Just in time. I can't tell you how much happier I am. I'm going to take one step down. How much happier I am being here every time I wake up in the morning, every time I go to sleep at night. When I get up, I walk, a quarter mile over to a convenience store with great coffee. I don't wear a mask. No one's forcing me to wear a mask. I can tell the employees don't want to wear a mask. Okay? And I don't care if it's around their chin. And, I would say there's still about, a quarter of the people that are zombies that are walking in there with masks or pumping gas with masks. But it's gone so far beyond that now in my hometown. And now thumbs this up. So unbelievably, we had been talking about a $1,000 fine for walking anywhere in the town, not just Main Street, without a mask on and being unable to socially distance 6 feet. Nuts, right? Totally nuts. Well, guess what? They took it a totally more nutty level. And no one is going to tell me this is okay. No one is going to be able to justify this to me. This is another extent of the tyranny that is now going on in New York State and is the model, I promise you, for the authoritarian, transhumanist, automation nation, universal basic income slave state that they want to build. Mandatory masks in homes. Let me repeat it again. Mandatory masks in homes. It doesn't seem real, does it? Well, let me explain how they did this. They're saying that if there is more than 10 people in your house congregating anywhere, everyone must wear a mask. What? Now they're like, oh, we're not going to knock on doors. I don't care if you're going to, quote unquote, knock on doors. This is completely unacceptable on every level. Now what they're trying to do is, as I told you, because the whole thing was a LARP, right? We looked at the numbers, and in a town of 14,000, about 6,000 students between two colleges that showed up, right? They had at one point said 800 plus positives in that town. Roughly 1 in 15 people. 0 hospitalizations. Let me say it again. 0 hospitalizations. Let me say it again. 0 hospitalizations. They tried to make one up, but then they never followed up on it and they retracted it. And out of the college students, at first they said 700 infections. Okay, and remember, they didn't test them before they got there. All the New York Times fake news headlines of those were spread through parties is total bullshit. It's total bullshit. There was no metric to go on. If there were 700 plus cases, we don't know if 690 of them got here. Okay? So let's make that clear. So they think they're going to be slick with all the kids that stayed in apartments and are throwing parties. So now they're not just going to fine you $1,000 or $1,500 for having a gathering. They're going to fine each individual that's not wearing a mask up to $1,000. That's the new play. That's the new fear. Okay? And I'm sorry if you don't think that college kids are people. I do. I think if you're 18 years old in this country and you can serve in the military and you can go overseas and get shot at or have to shoot at somebody, I think it's ridiculous. It's 21 to smoke in most areas. Even 21 to drink is questionable if you could put your life on the line for your freedom and your nation. Not much freedom now, is there? Not much freedom now. Think about it. It's insanity to think that it is okay in any way, shape, or form to tell me what I can do in my own home. Okay? And God bless those Orthodox Hasidic Jews in Brooklyn and New York City that are out there protesting. God bless them. Because they are the only people with a goddamn spine in that state, in my opinion. Go look it up right now. Check out how many of these synagogues over there are getting massive fines. Massive fines. And you don't have to agree with their religion. But the fact that they are practicing their religious freedom, and it should go beyond that. My freedom to assemble, whether it's a protest or not, is guaranteed to me by the Constitution and Bill of Rights. Period. Amen. No questions asked. And for you to say you can now come in my home because you think there's more than 10 fucking people in it, and we're not social distancing or wearing masks, and then individually fine us, is disgusting. It's disgusting. And Gary Herzig, you are disgusting. I don't know if you've realized it yet, but you've signed the death warrant of that community. Period. You've signed it. Okay, they are purposely gutting Sunni communities in New York State because this is about a reimagining, a restructuring of education for billionaires and by billionaires. You know what? My girls, my nieces are in school today. How about that? How about that? They're in school without fear. We don't preach fear here. We preach reality. And I'll say it again. The infection rate of college students nationwide, you had 70,000 infections. How many people were hospitalized? 3. That's by their own numbers. I wonder what those 3 people looked like. But think about that. 70,000. 70,000. Okay? Now, to put that into perspective, that means that for 1%, you would have 700 people in the hospital. Not deaths, but 700 if 1% of those people were hospitalized. Think about that. 3. Think about what a fraction of a percentage that is. 0 dead. And they're going to continue to lock my state down, and they're going to continue the draconian authorities, right? And, you know, people mocked me and laughed at me when I got back from my trip across the country to find out where I was going to move to. And thumbs this video up, only 60 thumbs. Let's get it to 100. They mocked me when I posted, please wear a mask. They had metal signs on my street, and I didn't like it. Oh, they're asking you really nicely. Oh, it always starts real nice. And then it's always going to be selective enforcement. Okay? And anybody can look this up right now. Right now. Type it in. Oneonta, New York, Otsego County. Mask in your private home. Mask in your private home. Forget about the fact that you can't have a real wedding, and we're going to go over that. We're going to show you a zombie wedding out in Mexico, a real-life zombie wedding. But then you can't congregate if a loved one dies at a funeral? Thank goodness. That has not happened in my family. It's never an easy time anyway when you lose a loved one, I promise you that. But then not to be able to console your other loved ones? What? Or share in that person's memory? The city council, I think it was a 3-2 vote. I could be wrong. Maybe it was 5-2. Anyone who voted for that should go to jail. You should go to jail. You authoritarian monster. Okay? Anyone who entertained it should lose their job. I'll give props. I think his name is Len Carson, is the only one that was talking about overreach. But guess what, pal? You didn't talk about it enough. You got to talk to those people like a human being. You don't need to patty cake it. You don't need to soften it up. You say, look, guys, this is out of control. You want people in their private homes to wear masks if they can't maintain a social distance and have 10 people over? Can't have a birthday party for your kid. Even though children, by and large part, are completely unaffected by this. And most people are completely asymptomatic. And Titus, thank you for being in the chat and mentioning that. I tweeted that out. Now, as much as I don't like Trump, right, and I put it on one issue at this point, mandatory masks, mandatory vaccination. You know, Atlas has come out and said the vaccine will not be mandatory. I'm not saying they won't renege. Go watch my interview with Whitney Webb. Everything about this is frightening. Everything about this is authoritarian. But Biden is openly running on mandatory masks, and when we get a vaccine, you betcha. You betcha. Just not the Trump vaccine. And it's not the Trump vaccine. All these companies are fucking bad. But now it's breaking out into the news that Cuomo may be the Attorney General for Biden and Harris. Now, let me put that into perspective. Cuomo has openly said he wants 40 million doses. Cuomo has openly said he wants the first fully vaccinated state. Cuomo has openly lied and said he will have the first COVID-free state. There's no such thing. There is no vaccination that's 100% anyway. It's a virus. Okay, just like they never eradicated polio and you thought they did, and it was settled science, it's not. So think about that. Anybody can look that up, by the way. Polio outbreaks due to oral polio. They try to say it's just in one part of Africa in the headline in the Sudan. It's way beyond that. Read the article. Nigeria, Congo. They talk about the Middle East. Okay? You notice they don't have running water there. Okay? And good agriculture and hygiene. It's so weird that polio exists in 2020. And then it somehow spread through an oral vaccine, as per the Associated Press reported. Harmful content, I know. So beyond all that, Cuomo telling you that, you know what else they're doing over here? They want to disband the NRA. Let me say it again. They're trying to disband the NRA through a lawsuit, which is almost like Al Capone-esque, right? They went after him for tax evasion. The truth of the matter is that in this case, they're trying to say it was misappropriation of funds. Oh, I know. Big NGOs and big corporations never misappropriate funds. They never buy drinks at the bar. They never get massages. No, it's never happened. Okay? So, I'm glad to be in Iowa. So far, so good here. I feel a lot better. But I feel for my friends and family that are still there in that state. My brother just had a baby. He doesn't live in Oneonta, thank God, or close, but he sees the writing on the wall. And Cuomo is a monster. He deserves to be in prison as well. So guys, obviously we're going to be doing Mixed Martial Mindset later on with John Fitch. I still haven't even finished up the fights, but from what I've seen so far, they're pretty good. I've been, super busy here, guys. I mean, I had to mow a big old lawn that hadn't been mowed all summer for the first time. I'm about 85% fully moved in. Still a few more things to do. But we're also going to do the Union of the Unwanted podcast tonight. So, in other words, usually I stay on there for 2 hours and I cut that into 2 or 3 videos. Guys, thanks for supporting me. If you can, the GoFundMe's down below. I got to go back to New York on Wednesday to go get my car. And then once we get back, the studio's going. Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. live on Rockfin exclusively. And then we'll cut some of that up and put it on YouTube. Go make that free Rockfin account. Guys, thank you for joining me. I love you, and I'll see you on the flip side.